Hi guys, today I'm going to give you some tips on how to read candlestick charts on any given exchange and also how to navigate the order book as well as set an order and know what all the numbers basically mean because it can get confusing at times. So here I have the Bitcoin 1 day candle chart. So to understand what this chart means, you have to have a basic understanding of what the candlestick chart represents. So here's a picture that shows what the candlestick is. So here you can see that there's a candle starting from 14th of September leading all the way to 2018 January 11th. So every candle, if it's green, the opening price is from the bottom of the candle, and then the closing price is the top of the candle. If it's red, that means that the candle lost money during that time period and it went down. So the price opening is on top and the price closing is at the bottom. So let's look at Bitcoin on December 12th or no December 7th, 2017. You can see that the opening price was at 14,085 and the closing price was at 17,360. So in 1 day, it increased from 14,000 to 17,500. And if you look closely, you can see there's with this vertical line extending from the top of the candle. That means that during the time period of that candle, the price did lead all the way up to 19,500, but the closing price was down at 17,500. So it was only up there for a brief part of the day. And you can also see that the next day when the market corrected, the red candle extended all the way down to about 13,800, but it closed at about 16,000. So another way to understand that is you can look at charts with different numbers of different time periods for each candle. So here's a 1 minute chart on lumens, and you can see that it's a lot more hectic, and you can only look back about a day or a few hours actually. But it's the same principle everywhere you look. If you basically when you're trading, you never want to buy right after a massive green candle. If you want to look for an entry point, you should be looking for red candles because if you buy after a green candle, it's usually met with a correction. So, I mean, you can kind of see that always. So if you look at Bitcoin, it had this huge run up with a correction right after. So if you bought at the top of this candle, you'd be screwed. But if you waited for the correction to go through a little bit, and I mean it's still going through that, but if you look at the overall trend of it, every run up was met with a correction. So what we're seeing now is just in normal of what we've seen for the last few months of Bitcoin. So if you go back to September, you can see that the run ups looked huge, and I'm sure people were freaking out after the corrections were happening, but Bitcoin went back to normal and just started going up again. And that's what I expect to happen after this correction finishes, because you might say that Bitcoin hit 20,000 and is now down at 13,000, but if you look at the last 2 months, it's still up a ton. So that gives you a little bit of insight. And let me give you some advice on how to read the order book. So this right here, this is the order book for who wants to sell. So you can see that the current price is 4,712 or 720 satoshis right now, and it's fluctuating up and down. That's because these people here who place their orders on top want to sell it. If you want to sell it for a higher price, your price gets put higher up in the order book, and it might take longer to go through, or it might never go through if the price never reaches what you put it at. But if you wanna get it sold quick, you just put it at market. You can just go to sell at market price, and whatever this is right here is what the price it will sell at. And then it's the same principle here, vice versa. At the bottom, if you want to buy, you put it at a lower price. You can wait longer. Maybe it never goes down to that, and your order never gets filled. So the thing is, you don't want to impulsively trade and just spend more than you should, or sell for less than you can because you're emotionally trading. You have to look at the data. You have to see how the market's looking, because here you can see this on the 15-minute candlesticks. It's pretty high right now, and all markets usually follow a similar pattern. After a run up, it'll correct. So I wouldn't advise buying here. I would wait. I would wait for for a little bit of time so that you can see that once this probably comes down to here, then that's a good entry point instead of waiting and instead of not waiting and buying here because you'll just lose money. Um, and also another thing on advice on how to read Bitcoin trading pairs. You might get confused when you see all these numbers here, but one Bitcoin is 100 million satoshis, and once you start thinking about it that way, you can read this as 4,687 satoshis instead of reading it as 0.000468 because that's not doesn't really make sense. So you have to look at what this number is, and you can see it's 4,680 satoshis. And if it was one decimal place over, it would be 46,000, and so on and so on. And once you kind of get that, you can have a little bit more ease in this market when you're trying to interpret things. And these principles, they're not only for cryptocurrencies. You can read stock market charts like this, Forex, Robinhood, whatever. And once you get that, you slowly start to understand trading more and more. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. Thanks. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow.